In this video, we show how you can connect Outerbounds to your Snowflake data warehouse securely without having to worry about passwords and while respecting data governance boundaries on the Snowflake side. Let's pick a dataset that updates hourly, so we can simulate the case where data updates continuously, because that's the really interesting case. We can, let's say, use this weather dataset that updates every hour. It is freely available in the data marketplace. You can just start using it. And we can quickly check what we have here. We should have the temperature by zip code. So let's run the query. And indeed, there's the timestamp, pretty recent one. It seems to be updating. Then we have the postal code and the temperature. Now let's create a connection to this database. So here we choose Snowflake as an integration. We give it some name and some description. Now the key thing here is that we can actually have any number of these integrations for different projects, for different data sets, maybe production and staging. So you can find a data governance policy that works for your needs. We have all the usernames, the passwords, the warehouse we want to use, and that is the database name that we chose. Now we confirm that indeed the demo user and demo role have access to this database, so that's all good. Now this is the key. We have a piece of SQL here that creates a secure integration between Outerbounds and Snowflake. You execute this piece of SQL, and now you can see that Snowflake trusts your Outerbounds deployment specifically when it comes to accessing this particular database using this role and everything that you specified. Now let's see if the integration actually works. We can use Outerbounds Workstation to do a quick data analysis, data exploration in a notebook, as people often do. So let's open my workstation here. Now we have a few lines of Python here. So we have the Snowflake object. We say that we want to use the hourly weather integration. And just as a test, let's use the same piece of SQL that we executed on the Snowflake side to confirm that it returns similar results. So let's put the SQL here. And maybe we want to get the results as a nice pandas data frame, so it looks nice in our notebook. Let's print that out. And voila, here's the dataset, exactly the same thing we had on the Snowflake side, but now coming securely and safely to Outerbounds, and it is pretty quick as well. The second interesting thing is that besides a notebook, can we actually use the data in our data pipelines? So here's an example data pipeline. We can just copy paste the example here. This is Metaflow code as usual that you execute on Outerbounds. Let's take the same piece of SQL just to test that it works and replace then the placeholder. So let's say this file, but then replace the placeholder here with the SQL that we want to execute and print out the results just to do a bit of a smoke test. Now, the interesting thing is that instead of running it on the workstation, I will run it in the cluster, in the cloud, to demonstrate that the integration applies to everything you run on the platform, not only the workstation. So now when I run the flow, we get the results. Now this is running on some instance on your account, but it has secured access to Snowflake, so you can do any data processing you need to perform. And in the following videos, we show much more advanced cases.